infection is high in your whole body, and your heart is you're building up fluid around your heart and your lung. There's not a lot of room inside the cavity here, and when you just get a little bit of pressure from some fluid buildup or something, your heart's working harder, your lung can't inflate all the way, and you're gonna have some problems. And they kept me in the emergency room that night. Actually, they were thinking they were going to cut me open again and physically or manually drain the fluid away from my heart. But they were concerned about doing it on me because of where the fluid was around my heart. It wasn't normally wasn't where they would normally see the fluid around the heart if there was even a complication. Excuse me. And where it was around my heart made the cutting and the manually draining the fluid away a little more risky, a little more dangerous. So they kept me in the emergency room while a team of surgeons talked about my situation, and they decided to go with a medication protocol to lower the inflammation and to remove the fluid. And I'm so glad they did, because I flat out told them, I said, "You're not cutting me again. You're not doing it." And they laughed and they said, "You know what? I don't think we're going to need to. Let's try this medication protocol." And they prescribed a couple meds, and I took them twice a day or whatever it was. And honestly, in 24 hours, I was feeling better. 48 hours, I felt great. A week later, cough was gone. I felt wonderful. And they kept me on those meds for like a month, maybe 2 months. I can't remember. 2 months. But after the first month, I went in for another follow-up echo to make sure that they were working, because if those meds weren't working, if the fluid had not been reduced, they were going to cut me open, and all the fluid was gone, by the first month, and then they kept me on the meds for another month just to make sure. And the cough never came back. I feel fine. So God bless these people. But I wouldn't have known that. My point is, I wouldn't have known that I had a serious complication that could have been life-threatening. That was life-threatening. I didn't know that if I hadn't gone to cardiac rehab. And my first 1 or 2 days at cardiac rehab, I think, were like 2 weeks after my surgery. I mean, they don't even recommend sometimes that you start that till like a month afterwards, I think. But I was bored. I didn't want to sit around the house. And that brings me to the other reason to go to cardiac rehab, and that is, it gives you some place to be. You have to get up out of the chair. You have to put the remote control down. You're going to have to, if you need to or want to, you put on the makeup if you're a woman or whatever, and you comb your hair and you trim your beard, and at least put on a clean shirt, right? If you have any shame or pride. And you get someone to drive you to cardiac rehab, because you can't drive for the first month. They just won't allow you to do it. They want to make sure that your sternum is healed a little more, but also that you're off your pain meds and you don't have any complications. So they don't want you driving for at least a month. But get someone to bring you to cardiac rehab. There's people there, and you may never see them again your whole life, but they've all gone through what you're going through, right? And that camaraderie and that familiarity with the procedures, really, you feel safe. You feel like, oh, I'm not the weirdo in my family or my group of friends. I'm not the only one. There's other people in here that are going through this situation, and you can talk and you can share about your experience and stuff. But you're moving. You're in there and you're moving. You're not I don't know. Maybe you will break a sweat. I didn't break a sweat or anything, but you're not in there to become Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're in there to be monitored while you incrementally and through a specific protocol increase your resistance and your capabilities, right? So you increase your speed on the treadmill, you increase your resistance on the elliptical, you increase the incline on the treadmill, you increase the weights as you do some bicep curls and stuff, because you're going to lose a lot of muscle mass too. Probably from not doing anything, but I think it's also because the trauma to the chest. So you're going to lose a lot of muscle in your pecs, your biceps, your triceps, your traps, all this up here, right next to where they cut, right? And in order for that to heal, your body's going to be pulling, right? Nutrients, protein, fats, muscles, cartilage. I don't know what is going on microscopically, but it's going to steal from other healthy parts to start to try to heal this, right? And you're going to lose muscle mass, so you're not going to be able to lift a lot. But even with the busted sternum, you're not allowed to lift much. You're not allowed to lift much over 5 or 8 pounds, 5 to 8 pounds, in the first month or two, until that sternum heals. So, thanks for listening. I just wanted to give this update and share it with anyone who might find use for it. You can do it. If you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me. I will get back to you. There's a lot I haven't covered here. There's a lot I have covered that maybe you weren't even interested in, but I'm not one for writing down notes to do a video, so I'm just kind of winging this. But count your blessings and be grateful that you have an opportunity to come out the other side of this better than going in. And you will be better. You will be better. It's going to be uncomfortable, and in my humble opinion, the pain, nothing like a kidney stone attack. I didn't feel anything like that during the entire process. And I was off my Oxycontin. I was off pain meds. Oh, let's see, I spent 5 days in the hospital. I was on them then. Maybe 3 days after I got home, I just quit taking them and started taking Tylenol. Acetaminophen, right? I think is that the generic or the technical name for Tylenol? Acetaminophen. And not much of it either, I would, for the first week or so at home, I would just take it religiously to kind of, keep the pain at bay. And then I just quit taking it. And I didn't have any shocking pain come to me or anything, thank goodness. The discomfort's there, but it's not like debilitating or something where you're in agony. It's just, it's uncomfortable and you gotta wait. Your body is still trying to put itself back together. And just to be clear, I don't think I've had any pain from my heart. Again, I have been having some sporadic, what kind of feels like angina, but I wonder if it is angina. It might just be twinges of muscle and nerves and stuff from the pectoral muscle, or the chest or something like this, the sternum. It might not be the heart at all, actually. So, you're going to do all right. Reach out if you need anything. Maybe I'll do another update in another few months. I'll definitely do one at the year mark, March 20th, 2026. But if you guys have any questions, if I can help you out, I'm here to help. As your brother under heaven, right? We have the same Heavenly Father. I love you. You can do this. And you're going to heal. The body is amazing. As fragile as it is, it's also very resilient. And it was designed that way. It was created that way. It's godlike, if you will. So give it what it needs. The nutrients. Take away some of the stuff it doesn't really need. The sugar, the processed this and that and the other thing. Lots and lots of carbohydrates. You don't need all that. You're going to need protein and fat. That's what you're going to need. Eggs, Steak. That's what I ate. Well, my doctor said to not eat steak anymore. I should be a vegetarian or I'm going to get... We're not at that point yet. Your body needs to put itself back together again. And in my humble opinion, and this is from my experience, you need eggs, you need steak, a little bit of bacon, because that is processed, but healthy fats, right? Olives, cottage cheese. I didn't eat dairy other than the cottage cheese. I wasn't drinking milk. I didn't drink soda. I didn't drink energy drinks. I didn't take in caffeine. I didn't drink tea. I didn't drink coffee. I didn't eat breads. I'm talking for the first 2 months. I mean, I supplemented with vitamin D3, 10,000 IUs a day, every day, 10,000 IUs, 100, what do you call it, micrograms or something of K2 with the D3, B1, B12, a B complex. You're gonna need that. I think that's a good idea. What else? Oh, I ate tuna, clean tuna, none of this Charlie the Tuna Starkist stuff, Some clean fish, sardines, very healthy sardines. Not a lot of oil, no corn oil, no seed oils, none of that stuff. Olive oil, avocado oil, that was about it. If I cooked, I ate pot roast. Some carbs I ate were potatoes. I would have some potatoes, not French fries. I did eat vegetables, of course, but not a lot. I didn't eat a lot. I didn't want a lot of gastrointestinal stuff going on with my sternum broke. Oh, and that's one more thing. Sorry to drag out the video, but that's another thing. They did not tell me to do this. This was not a recommendation that I found anywhere online or by my surgeons, but I decided to do it anyway, and I think it helped me. And that is, I did a 50-hour fast, water fast. I drank nothing except water, starting 50 hours before my surgery, before I needed to check into the hospital. They wanted me to come in on an empty stomach anyway, right? So I did it for 2 reasons. Maybe 3 reasons. One, I wanted to start the autophagy process, right? So I wanted the system primed, that when they sewed me back up and glued me back together, that the system was primed to start rejuvenating itself, okay, on the cellular level. So autophagy was definitely primed and ready to rock and roll by 50 hours. 2, I didn't want any food in my belly, and I didn't want any constipation. I do suffer from constipation, always have, and I didn't want to be dealing with that with a broken sternum, right? Squeezing, pushing, stressing, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to deal with that with a broken sternum. So until I kind of was able to really feel how I felt, if that makes sense, after the surgery, I didn't want to eat anything. I wanted empty everything. And then number 3 reason is fasting, a true fast, like in the biblical sense, in the spiritual sense, in the religious sense. It's a sacrifice, right? It's a form of sacrifice. And what I was doing was I was praying and sacrificing, fasting, for peace. I wanted peace and calm leading up and going into the surgery. And it worked. It absolutely worked. So, those are my reasons for fasting. Maybe I didn't need to do a 50-hour fast. It just kind of ended up like that. But I knew that my digestive system moves very slowly, and 50 hours was going to be just enough time to get everything that was in there out of there and start that autophagy process. prime it, if you will. And I really do think that helped me. It definitely helped me when I came out of anesthesia and I was in ICU and in the hospital for 4 or 5 days. Total, I was in there for 5 days total in the hospital. I mean, they didn't want me going home until I went number 2, right? So I had to start eating, and I wanted to, by that point, start eating, as soon as I could, the evening after surgery. And knowing that was going to take a little while for it to get to the other end, I was happy to start eating. I was definitely hungry by that point. By that point, it was way past 50 hours. I mean, it was 50 hours from when I started fasting to when I checked into the hospital, okay? I think the surgery was another 8 hours or so, and probably another 3 or 4 hours before I came out of anesthesia and was ready to eat, right? So, I mean, we're looking at over 60 hours of not eating, just drinking water. So I was hungry and I was ready to eat. And, but I didn't have any problems, using the bathroom. Of course, I had a catheter in for the first 2 days, 48 hours or so. I had a catheter, so I didn't even feel like I had to go to the bathroom, let alone have to physically get up and go to the bathroom. But to have an empty bowel, an empty, gut, was nice. I didn't have to shift around in the chair or the bed and find a comfortable position and be worried and scared about trying, if you know what I mean, trying to go number 2. And it just gave me a couple days longer to come out of it and get my bearings before I had to maybe go number 2, which, by the way, not as big of a deal as I imagined it was going to be. Not as big of a deal at all. As a matter of fact, starting in the hospital, and then for the first 2 months, and I think my cleaning up my diet helped a lot. It's gotten dirtier since, unfortunately, but those first 2 months, man, I was going like clockwork, and it was easy peasy, baby, easy peasy. And I was concerned about the meds too, right? The statins and everything. Some of these things can, Oxycontin and stuff, they can back you up, they can constipate you, but I didn't have that problem at all. I went every day, a couple times a day. It was easy, it was relaxing, but again, my diet was dialed in. Excuse me. I wasn't eating a lot of terrible stuff. Whole foods, real foods, protein, fat. That was mostly all of it. Carbs only came from some vegetables, and not a lot. And I drank a lot of water. I wanted to stay very, very hydrated, and I'm glad I did. So I recommend that for what it's worth. Try a fast before your procedure if you can. I think it'll help with the healing, and if you pray while you fast as well, I think you'll get dialed in with the Spirit, and that will allow some blessings, some supernatural God blessings to come to your soul and help calm you and relax you and help you have peace, right? He's the only giver of peace. Go to Him. He's the only one that's going to give you the peace that you're looking for. Pray and fast, and He'll help you out. Okay? So, God bless you guys. I'll get off this and hang in there. Thanks. Bye.